Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Jones effect. The Jones effect is one of the most successful ways to get the upper hand in selling. And what it is it's the simplest way that I can explain it is that when anybody, it's about competition and neighbors compete against themselves as well as businesses. Everybody wants to kind of keep up with everybody else. You heard the term keeping up with the Joneses. Matter of fact, I believe they even made a movie about it, which was hilarious. You know, they bring out these great golf clubs out to the golf range, and other guys start buying them, and they'd actually just implant a popular family in the middle of a community with all these new gadgets and gizmos and new cars, and all of a sudden the entire area would buy all this stuff, and then they'd leave. That whole family take off, they leave, go to another area, and they do the same thing. So in the sales game, I mean, this stuff is a great way to really get the upper hand. So when let's just assume you're sneaking out to do sales. Hey, we're doing this big promotion. Here's how it works, and you know, there's a lot of ways to do it. So let's just roll right into the close. Yeah, so the package, it's usually these things go for $60. Tell you what we're going to do right now is we actually dropped it down to only $50 when you buy one. We're actually giving a free one away for everyone that you pick up. I tell you what, if you want to just write a check out, write it out like your neighbor Nancy did. I appreciate it. Hey, write it out like the business next door Jim did over here. I appreciate it. Shake your head, yes. Now, that's one way to do it. You know, when you're, that's a very aggressive Jones effect. That Jones effect is great, especially when when you have those checks and stubs, and when they can see it as their next door neighbor or it is the next business over, they look and they're like, oh my God, Jim picked one of these up. There's no way that I'm not going to get one of these. I'm not going to let Jim show me up over here. So now you really get the upper hand. You know, I used to I used to just name off everybody that would buy them. You know, I'd write down every single person that would buy. Hey. Yeah, hey, listen, I appreciate it. What's your name? Jake. Hey, Jake, I appreciate it. Hey, what's your name, Tim? Hey, I appreciate it, Tim. And I'd write it down on a sheet of paper. And I remember coming into my office one day, and I told my old business partner, Christoph, I said, man, I said, you gotta, I said, you wouldn't believe it, man. He said, what? I said, I actually remember every single person that bought yesterday. I remember every one of their names. He's like, are you kidding me? I was like, I'm telling you. I was like, matter of fact, I'll say them right now. I'll say it in front of the whole group here. And I tell you, and I'm going to do it for you in just a second, but Christoph loved this meeting that I did, because I remember the last time he called me about a month ago, and the first thing he said to me after saying hello and stuff, he says, hey man, you mind shooting those names that bought from me again? So I'll go ahead and do that for you. I call this the name game here. It's so I'm going to name off everybody that bought me from that day. I still remember it that day. Okay, so here we go. Ron, Frank, Cameron, John, Tony, Tommy, Benny, Bobby, Susie, Sally, Hank, Henry, Marcus, Marvin, Larry, Laura, Lisa, Todd, Ted, Tracy, Randy, Mandy, Sandy, Candy, Karen, Catherine, Kim, Kyle, Kate, Jeremy, Jamie, Johnny, Jason, Jacob, Willis, and I believe Frederick was the last guy. So we'll do that one more time. Ron, Frank, Cameron, John, Tony, Tommy, Benny, Bobby, Susie, Sally, Hank, Henry, Marcus, Marvin, Larry, Laura, Lisa, Todd, Ted, Tracy, Randy, Mandy, Sandy, Candy, Karen, Catherine, Kim, Kyle, Kate, Jeremy, Jamie, Johnny, Jason, and Jacob, Willis, and Franklin. Okay, so Christoph, I hope you enjoyed that one. But that is another one in the Jones effect we can roll with. So make sure you're when you're out in the field, you're out there naming off the people that picked them up. You know, you're handing check stubs. Another thing I know that a lot of people like to do is showing the receipts. Anything you can do to let people know they're buying, because I'll say this in 15 other videos. Nobody likes to be the first or the last person to buy something. Nobody wants the first person because they feel like they're going to get duped, they're going to get scammed, or you look like you're not selling stuff. Nobody wants to buy from the guy not selling stuff. You look like you're on fire and everybody's buying it. You got a stack of cash and checks, and you're like, oh my God, I got to hurry up. I only got a couple of these things left. Everybody's picking up 4 or 5 of them, And the excitement in itself, they see all that stuff, and it actually creates an impulse, So get a chance to get that that impulse rocking and rolling with your Jones effect, your checks, your stubs, your attitude, the names that I just talked about. I mean, granted, you ain't got to name off 35, 40 names or whatever I just knocked out there, but having a little bit of fun in the field is always a huge plus. So make sure you enjoy the day. I hope you enjoyed my little name game there, and subscribe to my channel.